Hello, everyone. It is Sarah Wright, and welcome to my new podcast, New Age Politics. Today, we're going to be talking about some issues facing the United States and the best ways we can solve them. First, I want to give you a little background about myself. I'm a political science major at Cal Poly in San Luis Obispo. During these times, I'm staying in San Diego, where I've grown up my whole life. You've heard enough about me for now. Let's get into what's been going on lately. Recently, headlines have been buzzing about the death of a 46-year-old African American, George Floyd, who was killed in an instance of police brutality. A week prior, Ahmaud Arbery was the focus of the news and social media following the arrest of Gregory and Travis McMichael, the men accused of racially profiling and murdering the unarmed black man, according to Andone, Barajas, and Morris, 2020. Stories such as these are frequent and unsurprising nowadays for many Americans. This needs to stop. There have been recent discussions of poor Americans and people of color disproportionately suffering from COVID-19 and its effects. Only 40% of workers making under $70,000 a year are able to perform their jobs, which is bringing them into close proximity to other people, which could increase their risk of contracting the virus, according to The Economist in 2020. In addition, the hospital bills as a result of COVID-19 treatment alone can result in tens of thousands of dollars of debt for Americans. We can't keep letting this happen. These stories have been covered in the news and highly talked about, but within months or years, people will brush them off as they have past issues. The United States largely suffers from issues like these, such as discrimination, growing wealth inequality, difficulty in social mobility, a flawed criminal justice system, gender inequality, a poor healthcare system, and many other issues. These problems have resulted in the United States being rated well below other leading developed nations in areas such as freedom, education, healthcare, and more, according to Freedom in the World 2019. In order to understand my relationship with these topics such as equality and justice, let me give a little more background on myself. I am a 19-year-old female who grew up in a single-parent household. I lived in a small apartment with my mom and my sisters, and we faced many challenges as a result of our monetary struggles. Growing up in an upper-middle-class, predominantly white neighborhood, I saw how different my life was from those around me. In addition, my tan skin and Mexican heritage made me contrast with my peers even more. Because of my histories and my experiences, I can relate and understand why social and economic equality as well as justice are such valuable traits that need to be worked on in this country. Let's talk about the government. What should it be doing for us? Whose ideas are we following? What has it been doing for us? With that question, I'll answer, not enough. I don't think that the government is currently doing as much as it should to protect its people and the ideas we hold sacred. I believe the government's legitimacy mainly results from our social contract with it. I also think it's within the government's purpose to abide by this contract. The social contract between the United States government and its citizens more closely aligns with the ideas of Locke, which states that individuals give consent to be ruled when the government protects individuals' rights to life, liberty, and property, according to Ferdinand, Garner, and Lawson, 2018. Since the citizens should only give consent and legitimacy to the government if they are abiding by the social contract and protecting individuals' negative rights such as life and liberty, it is within our interest to demand that the government follow the contract or lose its legitimacy. I believe it is in the best interest of the population if the United States adopted more socialist policies. I don't believe that the form of socialism desired by Karl Marx, also described as revolutionary socialism, would be the best form, though. Marx believed that a revolution was necessary in order to bring about change and equality, but I think many Americans would be opposed to a drastic change in the political system if this occurred today. I do believe it would be beneficial, though, if policies were gradually implemented that represented socialist ideologies, which emphasize cooperation, fellowship, compassion, and equality, according to Ferdinand, Garner, and Lawson, 2018. Equality is a huge issue within the government and society and impacts many people within the population. Racial inequality, economic inequality, and gender inequality are just some of the ways in which inequality takes place in the United States. In order to diminish the effects of it, we need to be voting for and demanding that the United States government creates systemic equality. The United States government needs to do a better job at maintaining the harm principle, which states that only those actions that harm others, affecting them adversely, should be prevented by public opinion or the state, according to Ferdinand, Garner, and Lawson, 2018. This would promote citizens' abilities to speak freely and act freely, as long as it's not causing harm to others. This could prevent the freedoms that allow neo-Nazis, racists, to speak hatefully, and COVID-19 protesters from infecting large populations. Overall, we have seen and keep seeing the ways in which the government has failed to make citizens equal and is failing to abide by a social contract. Philosophers like Locke and the writers of the Constitution had no way of predicting the struggles and issues we would be facing today. The government has consistently only protected the interests of those that are wealthy, white, and male, and it is time that we develop a new system that treats everyone fairly, regardless of their skin color, status, or background. We need to implement changes that allow everyone to seek medical help without fear of debt, to interact with police without fear of death, and to live in this country without fear of what injustices may come our way. I think that many of the countries that have adopted some socialist policies and promote equality, such as Germany, Canada, and Finland, are doing well and have some of the highest freedom scores in the world. What do you think the government should be doing? What do you think its role is? This is Sarah signing off. Thank you for joining, and listen in next time with New Age Politics.